Ladies and gentlemen,
the most transformative sport event on earth is about to begin.
Those who are in the stadium are on their feet.
It's just a long, niggly climb.
Because it is desperation now. And there it is.
Gold! What a result! Another remarkable athlete about to write another chapter in Paralympic history.
Quiet, please. Hey.
Bonjour and welcome to day 7 of the Paris 2024 Paralympics on Keep the Flame Alive, the podcast for fans of the Olympics and Paralympics. I am your host, Jill Jarris, coming to you from the Hotel du Podcast, joined as always by my lovely co-host, Alison Brown. Alison, bonjour, ça va?
I was having a really good day.
until I realized we hadn't been taping. We recorded about a half an hour show.
And it disappeared into the abyss. No, I still had a very good day, and it's not going to ruin it.
Good. Let's just begin the baguette. So we had Kelju on today.
So Kelju is the evening wrap-up show with the host, and you have called her the French Caroline Mano.
Yes.
Which we don't understand what she's saying, but she's charming and lovely and very cordial with the athletes. They seem to really enjoy themselves.
Right. If Caroline Mano was in front of a studio audience.
And there's a studio audience, and so they bring the French medalists on. They show their winning moments. They show their moments from the medal stand, and then show them watching the medal stand moments. They have some other panelists, which will be either reporters. They have actors. I have noticed now on the little banner at the bottom. We're just enjoying the heck out of the show every night.
It's great. And we didn't see it during the Olympics. I assume it happened, but we were either at events or we were at the media center taping. And I blame the main press center for not having a pipeline into Kelju to tell us about
We had
this.
1,400 televisions that sometimes I had to unplug because they would start humming when we were trying to record. My life of crime has just been expanding.
Because they did not like that either. It was fun when the volunteers were like, "What happened to this television?"
But it would get that buzz like you got it in the 1970s when the stations would go off. So listeners, not only would you have heard vacuuming, you would have heard in the back of the show. But why wasn't one of those televisions on Kelju?
I know, that would have been great. Anyway, tonight on Kelju was Alex Portal, who wanted to be the French Leon Marchand.
He had 4 events.
And he got 4 medals.
But none of them gold because there was this little man.
big swimmer named Ihar Boki, who we talked about last night because we were like, Ihar Boki, we knew the name from Tokyo, and he is just phenomenal, still setting world records by a lot, and we know, Alex, that you wanted really hard to be another inspiration, and I'm sure you're another inspiration for a lot of people. I know it must. You got the silver medal is beautiful, the most beautiful looking medal out of the 3.
But Ihar Boki said interdit.
That's right. But we will say, Alex, Ihar is 30, and you are 22.
Just outlast him, man.
Yeah, that's
just
all you have to
him.
do. Keep it up. You will get there. We also had a wonderful email from our visually impaired listener, Eugene, who wondered about the commonality of the Jidos Paralympic logo tattoo versus the Olympic rings tattoo here among Paralympic athletes.
And certainly among Olympic athletes, that ring tattoo has become almost cliche.
Right.
There's a lot of different variations of rings that Olympic athletes have. And at one point it became a thing for Paralympians to tattoo the rings as well.
Right.
Because the Paralympics hadn't quite developed that distinct Agitos logo that now they are really set and focused on, and everything is Agitos.
Yeah, and it's hard to remember that the Paralympic movement is about 50 years, time-wise, behind the Olympic movement. And that also means they are not as well developed as the Olympic movement, I would say. So their logo was first introduced in 1988 at Seoul. The Seoul Organizing Committee for those games developed a logo that used their taeguk symbol, and they put 5 of them together. So it was kind of like Olympic rings. And then eventually the Olympics said, yeah, it looks too much like the Olympic rings and you're a different organization. Please stop. So in 1994, they made it 3 taeguks to be a little bit different. And then again, they changed the logo in 2004. And that's when you started to see the swooshes. And the logo we have today is only 5 years old.
It's a baby logo. I mean,
Yeah.
the rings have been around for 100
plus, just over 100 years, I would
and
say.
yes, they've changed over time. They used to be lined up, the colors, but the idea of the rings is nearly as old as the Olympics.
Right.
The Agitos is really a new symbol that I would say I felt like Beijing is really where we saw it consistently everywhere. It's probably Tokyo. But in terms of what I noticed.
Yeah, I mean, I would say also Pyeongchang somewhat. But I think once they got the 2019 logo, they could really lean into it and say, this is us. This is what we are. We have this logo. And this is the one that's going to stick, I think. And 2019 is not that long ago. So a lot of Olympians and Paralympians, actually a lot of Paralympians who have been in the movement for some time or were in the movement way before this logo came out, either didn't know the logo or the Olympics inspired them.
They don't have the emotional attachment
Yes.
to the Agitos, whereas younger athletes now who are being inspired by Tokyo, Beijing, Paris, the Agitos will have that meaning in their consciousness. So I think going forward, Alex Portal, you can get the Agitos tattooed on you.
Right. And I have seen Agitos tattoos here. I've seen some big calf tattoos with Agitos, and they're around. I think that's going to be up and coming as people really embrace this is our event and it's different from the Olympics. And I love that. So,
And let's bring the two stories together.
yes.
On Calju, one of the French sitting volleyball players had it shaved and dyed onto his hair.
I loved it. It was fantastic. So there you go, Eugene. We're getting there. It's a slow evolution, and we're still in the evolution. But I think as we keep going, I'm curious to see what 2026 will be like. Because
And
they're
28 even more so with LA, and
Right.
tattoos are such an LA thing. Will even more people be interested in doing that?
Okay. We got an email from LA 2028.
Speaking of,
Right.
and we talked about in Beijing that there wasn't really a presentation of the next host. There was a handover of the Paralympic flag, but not the show that they do for the Olympic handover, this time with Tom Cruise and Simone Biles and Snoop Dogg, and I don't know what was happening over there. But they're going to have a show for the Paralympic handover.
They're doing something, and TKFLASTAN is involved with this.
So Jamal Hill and Samantha Bosco, who, as you mentioned to me earlier, are both California natives, will be involved. So we have not gotten some intel from them. They've been a little busy, going and competing, but we'll be keeping an eye on that.
What volunteer or officiating job would you like to do today?
Okay, so I spent the day at Roland Garros. It is kind of low-hanging fruit to say a ball girl, but the reason I want to be a ball girl specifically in this situation is they have a double pump technique that all the ball kids were using, and it's quite distinct. It's kind of I was about to say a Dennis Eckersley throw, and then I realized that there's probably like 3 of our listeners who are going to know who that is. It's a submarine pitch.
Dennis Eckersley. Oh my gosh.
Hey, do not laugh at the X-Man.
Hey, he played for the Cubs. It's all good.
So it's a very distinct double pump kind of sidewinder underhand throw when they are moving the ball, say, from the net to the backcourt. Very distinct, had a distinct facial expression that all the kids did when they did this. So whoever trained them must have made the expression, and the kids subconsciously absorbed that when I throw the ball, I must make the face.
Did they stroke their invisible mustaches too?
If I had known that you found Dennis Eckersley so funny, I would not have mentioned him.
I get it. I'm on hallowed ground here.
Should I bring up Raleigh Fingers next?
No, I have
Speaking
no
of
attachment. I have
mustaches.
no attachment to Raleigh Fingers.
And speaking of fingers, what's your job?
Okay, so I was at wheelchair fencing today, and a lot of stuff going on at wheelchair fencing. But one of the things is you have a crew of people that locks the athletes in their chairs. So the chairs have to get locked into a frame that's on the piste, and there's people who lock the wheels into place, and then you have to deal with distance. You have to get the distance between the chairs right, and that is based off of the shorter person, which I learned from Byron Bench when I went out to the High Performance Training Center. And what they do is they each put their arm up in an L, and the other fencer holds out their weapon straight to touch the elbow. And they figure out, okay, the shorter person has to be able to touch that person's elbow. And then what they do is somebody has to put on gloves, and then there's a crank on the bar that's connecting the two chairs together, and they crank the distance apart or together. It was really cool. I was totally mesmerized. And once again, I'm very glad I have binoculars.
And there were gloves involved.
There were gloves involved. You know, I like an accessory. You know what else I like?
Money.
Yes, I do like money. And this is a part of the show where we ask you to help support us. We are an independent media outlet, which means we also need independent financing. And coming to Paris to bring you the games is got a price tag on it. We're not going to shy away from that. It's a pretty big price tag.
With a lot of euros.
That's right. And the exchange rate ain't that great in our favor. So if you have enjoyed the coverage that we have brought you, we try to bring you the unfiltered, real scene that's happening here, and trying to bring the joie de vivre of Paris and the games. If you could slide a little Euro money our way, we would greatly appreciate it. We're suggesting $20.24 because it is 2024. But you might also say $20.24. Back in Beijing, you were asking for 2022, Jill. Alison, I say inflation.
And that's pretty good, given how inflation has been.
Right, yeah. Podcast inflation hasn't been that much. And that's because we stayed in a really, really, really cheap Olympics hotel. I can't tell you how cheap it was. It was amazingly cheap.
And we got what we paid for.
That is correct. So we have a variety of ways to that you can support us. They are all listed at flamealivepod.com/support. We also have an option if you would like to be an ongoing patron. That is also there on that page. Ongoing patrons get special photo of the day. They different levels get video and audio of the day. So not the day. They get video and audio when I'm able to put it up. Let's be quite honest. And I've had problems with connectivity. So video and audio has come after I have dealt with a lot of logistics stuff because I don't need to get lost in Paris because the data on my phone won't work. So anyway, that's flamealivepod.com/support daily results.
Boccia's first. So as I said, we have good news and bad news for our Alison Levine and her mixed pair partner, Yulian Chibano. They won the quarter against the Ukrainians, Kalinka and Konenko, 6-0. Nice. Really solid quarterfinal. And then they lost in the semi. To Chang and Luang from Hong Kong, 6-4. So it was close. But yet again, more good news. They play for the bronze tomorrow against Thailand.
There you go. You can do it. You can get that bronze. We are rooting for you. I will say that. And Roberta, Mrs. Levine. We are definitely rooting for them, and we will hopefully see them on the podium. In goalball, we had some women's and men's action today because we're getting close to the end of goalball.
We're getting close to the end of everything.
I know.
The team sports are coming. We've got semifinals. We got nothing less than semifinals in team sports anymore.
And it really bothers me because I have not seen enough goalball, and I don't know if enough more goalball is in my future.
Well, you know what? There is more goalball in your future, just not your immediate future.
Okay, thank you. We had a women's classification playoffs and then the semifinals. For the playoffs, 7th and 8th place, Korea beat France 4-3. It took 2 overtimes, which is a way to go, France, for hanging in there like that, because I know you've put your team together for these games. And that means you're not as seasoned players as other teams, but that's a way to hang in there for this. So I'm looking forward to seeing I really am looking forward to seeing what happens to parasports in France and if they're going to have a bump, because we've seen China at the top of the leaderboard. Brazil is up on the medal count. Japan is up on the medal counts. All recent past hosts. Come on, France, you can do it. If the audience at Kelju says anything to me, it says they love parasport.
And they love wearing chicken heads.
Very true. We also had women's semifinals. Israel beat China 2-1, and
forgot the 5th and 6th match.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The classification match for 5th and 6th place, Canada beat Japan 1-0. Then we had semifinals.
Okay.
In the women's side, Israel beat China 2-1. Turkey beat Brazil 3-1. Israel-Turkey final.
That's going to be cool.
And I saw Israel play, and they are fast.
Also cool. I like that strategy.
It's a fun style to watch. Then we've got some men's semifinals. Ukraine beat Brazil 6-4, and Japan beat China 15-5. Wow! So final is the gold medal match is going to be Ukraine and Japan, and I have a feeling they have very different styles.
Yes, I would imagine, and the crowd is going to be amazing for this.
Quiet, please.
In para archery, we had the men's recurve open finals. Gold went to Harvinder Singh from India. Silver went to Lukasz Chisek from Poland. And bronze went to Mohammad Reza Arab Ameri from Iran. This is India's first Paralympic or Olympic archery gold medalist.
That's shocking to me.
It is shocking because they've had a lot of really good Olympic archers in recent quads, but none of them have gotten through that last barrier to get to the podium. So good on you, Harvinder Singh. And in Tokyo, he also got a medal. So this is a step up from his last bronze. A lot of stuff going on in para-athletics today.
You were there today.
I was there in the morning. Easy peasy to get to. I was really surprised. Longest train ride, but it got you to a stop that was kind of built for the stadium. So if you're going to a big rugby match or something, it is right there. And you walk with everybody, and you walk with all the school kids because they're all coming to the para-athletics.
I was on the train with all the school kids out to Roland Garros too. Some of them are not very well behaved, but some of them were lovely.
We had a group stopped, and a volunteer with a bullhorn was making them sing the Marseillaise, and another group was on my other side, and they just automatically started singing too. So forget this. And you know, a stadium that's it's not super full. It wasn't bad. I will say they had for a Wednesday
Daytime
morning session, but those kids were so loud. When anybody from France raced, they're cheering. It was like the stadium was full.
And what's fun about kid cheering is it's different.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we were talking before about the joy. It's fun when the kids start cheering.
Yes.
You can't, I mean,
Yes.
unless you hate children, but just in general. And I think for the athletes, that probably is such a great sound and feeling to feel that kind of childhood abandon in their cheering, which was great. It was great at the tennis, so I'm sure at athletics it was even better.
Yeah, and they really liked cheering for track races because I think
yeah.
they can understand that a little bit more. You got to sit and pay attention to a throws or a jumps competition to appreciate that. But anything that was a race around the track, they were there for it in multitude. It was great. That was so much fun. I also like the Paralympics because I can get a 3-person desk just for me, and I could take the next one or 2 desks if I want.
You know, the some venues have shrunk the tribunes because Stade de France is an existing stadium that's used for many things. They kind of have a set size of the press tribune.
Yeah, it's permanently in there.
It's permanently there, so it was the same size for the Olympic 100 meters with Noelle Lyles as it is for a Wednesday morning session of the Paralympics. So it's great for us. Not great if you're trying to get more people into the stadium and squeeze in more seats, but it is helpful when we can actually work.
I will say that.
And watch the event. And geez, you had some nice events to watch today.
I did. We do have the results we have are kind of meshed together between morning session and evening session. It's really kind of, I don't want to say odd because it's just different. There are so many events in para athletics that they have medals in the morning session and in the evening session, whereas in the Olympics we were used to heats and things in the morning and then the evenings would be finals. So it was odd to be there during the day. And past Jill remembered that she was going to the Grand Palais tonight and how cold it was. And like, oh, bring the jacket. And then I remembered that further past Jill had bought a very nice sweatshirt.
Oh,
And
did
I
you wear your
remembered
fuzzy sweatshirt?
to bring my fuzzy sweatshirt with me. And by golly, once the sun moved enough in the Stade de France, because it was hot, when I sat down, I'm like, I'm going to get sunburn. And then it moved, and yeah, I needed that. I was very cozy and comfortable. And then I left the Stade de France after, and then I roasted again because it was actually kind of warm out. Anyway, women's discus throw F41 final. This is a short stature class. Gold went to Raoua Talili from Tunisia. Silver went to Yosir Karim from Morocco. And bronze went to Estefani Gisela Lopez Macas from Ecuador. I did see this event, and it was a lot of fun to watch.
And Talili is a 3-time double gold for shot put and discus.
She was amazing.
She throws things.
She really throws things far. In the, oh man, women's shot put F46 final. This was so good. This was so much, well, it was so good because of Noelle.
Okay, so our Noelle Malkamaki, who we have spoken to, this is her event. Prior to the event, she is the world record holder.
Which she said at Olympic trials.
So a lot of pressure, a lot of expectation.
First throw sets a Paralympic record. That was amazing. But it got better from there. And she's the 14th out of 15 throwers. So already, like, she won the race. She won the race. She won the event on that Paralympic throw. But her next throw, she, oh wait, she set that Paralympic record by over 1.5 meters. 1.5 meters for the Paralympic record. So you think back to, I forget how long ago that was, but that's a lot. Oh, because they didn't have the event at Tokyo. People have been talking about how this event was in the Paralympics and out of the Paralympics. Now it's back in the Paralympics, and they're really hoping it stays because there's enough women to do it. At the end of round 1, she is 1.72 meters ahead of the rest of the group. This is it. The show is over at this point, really.
Oh, no, the show has just begun.
Oh, her show has just begun, but the competition is over. Next round, she gets a world record. And she smashes it by 0.35 meters. So now she has a personal best on her agenda, too. So she throws 3.95. Next round, a little bit less than that. Okay, you can do that. Round 4, she breaks 14 meters. So she hits 14.06. She, like, collapsed onto her knees when she saw the score and couldn't believe it because that was the goal. She's like, I know I can throw over 14. And she hit that goal, and it was just really beautiful.
how she reacted to the throw when she let go. Did she know?
No, when I talked to her in the mix zone, we'll get to that. I talked to her in the mix zone, and she didn't quite know because she said, people do ask that, but she did feel the drive in her legs. So she knew, and she was hopeful that it was. Managed
I don't
to
think
do
she
it.
expected 14.06.
No, and then the nice thing was in her last throw was 14 flat. So hitting 14 meters 2 times, she was like, that wasn't a fluke. So crazy that you can get 2 world records and a Paralympic record in one competition, but you could. I do have tape from the mix zone. I cried. I cried really bad.
I cried when I saw the gold medal come up because I was sitting at a tennis match and it popped up and I started crying in the stands. And this was only minutes after another result, which we'll give you in a minute.
Oh, no.
Within, I want to say 5 to 10 minutes, I got these 2 results. And I'm trying to watch this tennis match. And I'm sitting there in the press at the little court with tears coming down my face. So, I'm so glad you got to talk to her, too.
So great. I think she's totally helping push this class forward and propelling them. Tons of personal bests and season's best. And yeah, maybe some of that's the adrenaline of the event and being in front of a huge crowd. But it's really great that these women are pushing each other to get better and better and better. So future is bright here.
Okay, do the medals.
All right, bronze. Gold went to Noelle Malkamaki with a new world record. Silver to Maria Shapatkivska from Ukraine. She got an area record. And then Holly Robinson from New Zealand got the bronze. Okay, I have a confession to make.
Go Silver Ferns.
So she is in the mix zone. She got there before Noelle. And I see her, and she's talking with another reporter. And I think, when she walks past, you have to say, go Silver Ferns. When she walks past, you have to say, go Silver Ferns. I don't know what happened, but she was past me, and I hadn't said, go Silver Ferns. I'm very sorry.
It's okay. I appreciate the I have found New Zealand athletes can go 2 ways on that if you say it to them, because I did in Beijing, and a couple of them looked at me like I was insane. So maybe the universe was protecting you because Holly would have been frightened of you.
Probably because I hadn't started crying yet, but there you go. Women's shot put final 32 classes, the seeded class. Gold went to Anastasia Moskalenko from Ukraine, who got a world record. Silver went to Juana Helena Brito Oliveira from Brazil, and bronze went to Yevgenia Nova from Neutral Athletes. Men's shot put F36 final, which is a moderate coordination disability across the entire body. Gold went to Vladimir Sviridov from Neutral Athletes with a world record. Silver went to Alan Kokoditi from Neutral Athletes, and bronze went to Dastan Mukashbevkov from Kazakhstan. In the men's shot put F46 final, same deal as Noelle's class. Gold went to Greg Stewart from Canada. Silver to Sachin Saryero Kalari from India. And bronze went to Luka Bakovic from Croatia, who got a personal best on the day, too. In men's javelin throw F34 final, which is some trunk and arm mobility, gold went to Saeed Afrouz from Iran, who set a world record. Silver went to Mauricio Valencia from Colombia, and bronze went to Diego Fernando Menezes Medina from Colombia. Okay, so I have some stuff to say about Colombia's kit.
Have we talked about that on the show, or just you and I talked about it?
I don't know.
I think you and I have talked about it. So Colombia, in a lot of their kit, has this sort of 80s flashy pattern that they
very colorful,
very lovely, with the red and blue and gold of the flag, but not in a traditional flag-like way, very abstract, artsy way. And they use it in many different ways.
They have a hoodie. That's the whole pattern. It's really cool looking. Really, really cool looking, because they kept walking through the mix zone.
A lot of Colombians wearing that hoodie.
Yes. I saw this. This was on there. oh my gosh, because the Saida Fruz was just throwing like nobody's business. It just would not stop. Like, the javelin went far, man. I'm sorry, that's all I have to say. It was like, whoa, that's going really far.
Sometimes at athletics, because there's so much going on at once, sometimes that's all your brain can process.
Yes.
Like, you can't come up with good journalistic language. You can say, goodness gracious, that was far.
Right. And think about it, because at the same time we had javelin and then shot put, discus, and stuff on the track. And then a long jump came in as well. So we had a lot going on.
It's like a Vegas show.
In the men's long jump T30.
Wait, you forgot the club throw.
Oh, sorry. Oh, how could I forget the club throw? Well, I didn't see it because it wasn't in my session. But men's club throw F51 final. It's a seeded class. Gold went to Dharmbir from India. Silver went to Pranav Surma from India. And bronze went to Zelko Dimitrijevic from Serbia.
Now we can jump.
Okay, we can jump. Men's long jump T38 final. Reduced coordination across parts of the body. Gold went to Ketov Kinchikov from neutral athletes. Silver went to Zhang Huanghao from China. And bronze went to Jose Gregorio Lemos Rivas from Colombia. Nick Mayhew and Ryan Medrano, who I talked with after the 100, and patrons, you have audio of that. They were both in this race because they just decided to add in a jump too.
They were bored. They had some time on their hands.
Yeah. And it's funny because Ryan doesn't have a pit to train in. So he's like, he didn't have much practice in the pit. He got a personal best. But he's like, okay, I'm going to use this and drive. And then, so he placed 6th. Ryan Medrano did. Nick Mayhew placed 5th. Tara Davis Woodhall was there on the sideline, not in the sidelines, but in the stand, who came down to coach him and give him some pointers, which is really, really nice.
I've been seeing a whole bunch of photos of Tara and Nick together. So that must be that she and he are working together on this.
Yeah, I think she's coming
stretch.
in to help her. It's a new event for him too. He hasn't been doing it very long. And when I was watching, like, he didn't hit the board a lot of times. Not over. He was under. He was short. He was very short, which means you give up some like centimeters on the other end of your jump. So he was a little disappointed. I think he's having a tough games when he came off of an excellent games, getting reclassed and having a struggle because of now you're in a different class with a different class of people and you're just not the best anymore, or at least for this moment in time.
And the way that they race, and we when we talk to Paralympians, it's not simply who you're racing against or who you're competing against. Different classes sometimes function very differently within their events. So yes, your competition has changed, but also how your competition works has changed.
Right. So it's a big adjustment and it's a tough adjustment. And Nick does not like to lose. So it's been very, very tough. And I give him credit. I give him credit for stopping and talking to me. And I know he's got his patter, to be quite honest. There's some patter and he's got messages to say. But, I do feel for him because he's got a lot to process after being on such a high. We did talk on the tape about the mixed relay. From Tokyo,
my favorite moment from Tokyo.
I know. I said I couldn't do it. My co-host would be very angry if I didn't ask. He was sad to not be on that team this year.
I think that was his favorite moment in Tokyo too.
Yeah. But I feel bad for people who have tough games. They have a good games, they have a tough games, and every athlete can have up days and down days, and we see that with so many of our athletes too. So it's tough, and I feel for you and just how you get through it. And it's tough to put that into words, like the process of getting through, and maybe you need that challenge to break through to another level. So I don't know. If you're a patron, you will know what Nick and Ryan say because you will get that audio shortly. Men's long jump T64 final. This is lower leg impairment. Gold went to Marcus Rehm from Germany. Silver went to Derek Loxodent from USA, and bronze went to Jared Wallace from the USA. Over on the track, we had women's 100-meter T36 final. It's all four limb impairment. Gold went to Shi Yiting from China with a Paralympic record. Silver went to Danielle Atchison from New Zealand.
Go Silver Ferns.
Bronze went to Veronica Hippolito from Brazil. In the same race, T53 final, it's a wheelchair class. Gold went to Samantha Kinghorn from Great Britain with a Paralympic record.
Her second medal.
Oh, nice. Silver went to Catherine de Brunner from
She
Switzerland.
lost something?
No, but it's her fourth medal in 4 events here.
Oh, my goodness. And she got one of the silvers. So she has the prettiest one. And then she's also got some golds.
Yes. Gold is nice, but really the silver is beautiful in person with that Eiffel Tower bit. Because the Eiffel Tower's, the iron of it, that iron color, just works really well with the silver. Anyway, bronze went to Gao Fang from China. In the T54 class, women's 100 meter, this is another wheelchair class. Gold went to Leah Bayakula from Belgium, who's had a Paralympic record. Silver went to Tatiana McFadden from the U.S., and bronze went to Amanda Kotaja from Finland.
Second medal for Finland.
I know, at least in athletics. Oh, no, you've kept track.
And the 20th medal overall for the Paralympics for Tatiana McFadden.
Wow. Men also had a 100-meter T53 final. It's a wheelchair class. Gold went to Abdulrahman Al-Qurashi from Saudi Arabia. And that name sounds familiar. I will be quite honest with you. He set a personal best. Silver went to Pongsakorn Payo from Thailand, and bronze went to Ariosvaldo Fernandes de Silva from Brazil. Brian Seaman, who I talked with the other night, he finished 4th. In the T54 men's 100-meter, gold went to Juan Pablo Cervantes Garcia from Mexico. Silver went to Atiwat Peng Nuia from Thailand, and bronze went to Leo Pekki Tati from Finland.
Finland has decided to show up for the games. Nice.
We have some Finnish people in our hotel, Finnish Paralympic committee people types, and maybe they're media, but they're very lovely.
They are lovely.
And in the men's 400-meter T37 class, it's a one-side impairment. Andre Vodovin from Neutral Paralympic Athletes won gold. Bartolomeu de Silva Chavez from Brazil won silver with a personal best. And Amin Allah Tizayou from Tunisia won bronze.
Okay, so over to Paris.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I know we have to move on. But I had run down to the mix zone. Again, there's plenty of signs. Have you been to para-athletics yet?
Not yet.
There are tons of signs. Please use the stairs. Please use the stairs. Save the elevator for people who need it.
Because the elevator's not big.
No. And it's probably slow because elevators seem to be slow around here. Anyway, I have taken pictures of all the signs. And that meant I got back up to my desk kind of late, and then the session ended, and I had to figure out how to get to where I was going, write down the instructions, screenshot the instructions so I didn't get lost in Saint-Denis. And I was there for the amazing amount of floor maintenance going on in the track. So we had, over in the javelin section, there was push brooms. In the shot put, they watered the track around the shot put area, and then this big roller that they rolled around to help mop that up. There was a leaf blower going on in long jump to blow all the sand back. And then there was a big vacuum. Not a big vacuum, but it was a regular vacuum. But I do have a picture because, of course, I saw this woman come out. And she came out in the start area of the 100 meters. So that's that side of the track. And she's pulling this vacuum around. And she kind of stops and takes selfies and has somebody take a picture of her with the vacuum. I'm like, oh, you are our people. What are you doing with this vacuum? She pulls it all the way down the straight and then around the curve to where the other throws are, so the discus and the club throw and all that. And she spent some time looking for a plug to plug it in. I think she had to go get an extension cord, but then she did do vacuuming around there because I was like, what's that vacuum for? I am here for the rest of this. As long as it takes, I will be here, people. So, she needs an official vacuumer. Keep the Flame Alive shirt. Available at our TeePublic store. I will say that. Paracycling Road.
Paracycling Road. So we're going to go over the classes first. C is bicycles, T are tricycles, H are hand cycles, B are for visually impaired classes with tandem, so there'll be a pilot. The lower the number, the greater the impairment. So I find that this classification kind of simple and a little easier to follow. So in the women's C 1 through 3 individual time, actually everything is an individual time trial today. So women's C1 through 3 class, gold went to Germany's Maika Hausberger, silver to Frances Brown from Great Britain, maybe one of my cousins, Anna Beck from Sweden won bronze. Then we had the C4 class. You know who's in this class?
Samantha Bosco.
Do you know who won the gold medal?
Samantha Bosco!
This was the race that she wanted to win. This was the race that she was gunning for. And she did it. This was the other result I got with Noelle Malkamaki. And I'm sitting on the stand just making a fool of myself.
I know. When I saw this, because we get the breaking news, and that came through soon after, I'm like, oh. Yeah, I was so excited. I think I might have pumped.
I did.
Yeah.
And it's in the middle of a point, and I'm like, oh. Silver went to Meg Lemon from Australia, and bronze to Franziska Matthiele-Dorig from Switzerland. Mm-hmm. Yes? Okay, thank you. And this is Samantha's first gold after winning 2 bronzes in Rio.
Very nice.
In the women's C5, Dame Sarah Story from Great Britain won gold, Heidi Gauguin from France won silver, and Alana Foster from Australia won bronze. Dame Sarah Story is 46 years old.
I thought she had retired.
She did.
Oh, and then she came back?
I don't know if she officially, I don't know if she told the doping agency not to take her anymore. But she, after Tokyo, was like, yeah, I think this is it. No. 9th Paralympics, 13th gold medal in cycling. She's got 16 medals in para swimming going back to Barcelona.
Wow.
She's just going to pick another sport to dominate in the second half of her life, apparently.
She could go to shooting.
And she'd probably kill it.
Don't say that.
Men's C1, gold went to Ricardo Tenargelis from Spain, silver to Michael Tauber from Germany, and bronze went to Zbigniew Mazazuski from Poland. In the men's C2, Andre Lute from France won gold. Excellent. Oh, and Uwid Romont from Belgium won silver. Darren Hicks from Australia won bronze. In the men's C3, France takes another gold. Thomas Perrotin d'Arte. Silver to Eduardo Santa Asensio from Spain. Bronze to Germany's Matthias Schindler. Men's C4, France. Kevin Leconf won gold. Gatien Larousseau from France as well wins silver. And Damian Roma Sanchez from Spain won bronze. In the men's C5, the Netherlands won gold. Daniel Abraham Gebru. Alistair Donahoe from Australia won silver. And Florian Foulon from France won bronze. France had a really nice day.
Great day in cycling.
I am not done with saying France. Men's H1, Fabrizio Cornigliali from Italy won gold. Maxime Hortis from Belgium won silver. And Nicholas Peter Dupreez from South Africa won bronze. In the men's H2, Sergio Garoda Munez from Spain wins gold. Luca Mazzoni from Italy won silver. And Florian Giuani from France won bronze. Men's H3, Mathieu Bosraden from France won gold. Johan Kahl from France won silver. And Martino Pini from Italy wins the bronze. Men's H4, Jetsi Plot from the Netherlands won gold. Thomas Fruworth from Austria took the silver. And Jonas van der Steen from Belgium won bronze. Men's H5, Mitch Valits from Netherlands won gold. Loic Vernad from France takes the silver, and Luis Costa from Portugal won bronze.
I gotta say, researcher Elizabeth had mentioned during the track cycling competition, like, oh, the typical powerhouse countries that you see in able-bodied cycling are also doing really well in paracycling. Boy, are they doing really well on the road cycling.
Netherlands, France, Netherlands. Women's H13, gold to American Katarina Brim, silver to Lauren Parker from Australia, bronze to Annika Zion Gillis from Germany. In the women's H45, I didn't see the results for this. Oksana Masters from the U.S. won gold. It's her 18th Paralympic medal.
That's amazing. Over winter and summer, because she can...
She does
both,
everything.
Yeah.
Silver to Chantal Hainan from the Netherlands, and bronze to China's Sun Bian. And in the men's T12 individual time trial, gold to China's Shen Jian. Canada's Nathan Lament won silver, and Tim Selen from Belgium won bronze. Our Dennis Connors finished 5th.
Well done.
In the women's T12, Netherlands won gold. Marieke van Zoist, Celine Van Til from Switzerland won silver, and Emma Lund from Denmark won bronze. Now we get into the 2B classes. These are the visually impaired, and they have pilots. Gold to Netherlands, Tristan Bangma with pilot Patrick Boss. France takes the silver, Ellie de Carvalho with pilot Michael Gouchard. And Vincent Terschur from the Netherlands wins bronze with pilot Timo Fransen. And in the women's B, Katie George Dunleavy from Ireland wins gold with pilot Linda Kelly. Silver goes to Sophie Unwin from Great Britain with pilot Jenny Hole. And Laura Facci from Great Britain wins bronze with pilot Corinne Hall.
Para-equestrian started. So we had the individual event in dressage for grade 4 and then grade 5. The higher the number, the more complexity the athlete can do with their horses and their movements. So for grade 4, and it's a 1 to 5 grade scale. So grade 4, gold goes to Demi Herkens from Netherlands on Doula. Silver goes to Sanne Voets from Netherlands on De Montour. And bronze goes to Annalena Mihus on Kimbaya 6 from Germany. In the grade 5 event, gold goes to Michaela George from Belgium on best of 8. Silver to Regina Mispelkamp from Germany on Highlanders Delights. And bronze to Sophie Wells on Legit Engelbergard's Samoa. They're from Great Britain.
When I typed that horse's name in, I so looked forward to what in the world you were going to do with this. There are so many vowels in that name of that horse, and that it's an English horse on top of it. I'm like, who named this horse? And what do you actually call him when you're working together?
Also starting today is para-powerlifting, which hopefully you can see on the feeds because it was one of the Tokyo sports that you could not see at all. And so we had both men and women competing today in the men's 49 kilogram final. Gold goes to Omar Sami Hamada Karada from Jordan. Silver to Abdullah Kayan Pinar from Turkey. And bronze to Li Van Kong from Vietnam. In the women's 41 kilogram final, gold to China Chu Jie. Silver to Esther Nwangu from Nigeria, and bronze to Lara Aparecida de Lima from Brazil. In the women's under 45 kilogram final, China's Guo Ling won gold. Silver went to Zoe Newson from Great Britain, and bronze to Mazima Muratli from Turkey. And finally, in the men's under 54 kilogram final, gold to David Digtaryev from Kazakhstan, silver to Pablo Ramirez Barrentios from Cuba, and bronze to Yang Jinglang from China. Another big day in the pool.
Every day is a big day in the pool. It's a lot of classes. There's a lot of races.
That's right. We will start with the S7 class, kind of a mixed class. Swimmers had to work harder at getting their stroke timing. So men's 50-meter freestyle, gold goes to Andrei Trusov from Ukraine, who set a world record. Silver to Carlos Daniel Saranto Zarate from Colombia, and bronze to Igor F. Rosinin from Neutral Athletes. Women's 100-meter, same class. Gold went to Jiang Yuyan from China, who set a world record. Silver to Morgan Stickney from the U.S., and bronze to Giulia Terzi from Italy. All names we keep hearing, I will say that. Our Mackenzie Cohen was in this, as she had finished third overall in the heats, finished fifth in the finals. Over in the S9 class, which is the coordination class, women's 100-meter freestyle, gold went to Alexa Leary from Australia, who set a world record. Silver went to Christy Raleigh-Crossley from the U.S., who set an American record. And bronze went to Mariano Ribeiro from Brazil. And then we have a couple of races individually impaired class, the S12. Gold goes for men's 100-meter freestyle. Oh, we have both men's and women's 100-meter freestyle. For the men, gold went to Yaroslav Denishenko from Ukraine. Silver went to Maxim Varaska from Ukraine. And bronze went to Raman Saleh from Azerbaijan. For the women, gold goes to Maria Carolina Gomez Santiago from Brazil. Silver to Anna Stetsenko from Ukraine. And bronze to Tsuchuichi Yayano from Japan. So moving over to the S8 class, which is a lot of different body types, but they lack overall muscle power. So in the 400-meter freestyle for the men, we had gold going to Alberto Amodeo from Italy, silver to Reed Maxwell from Canada, bronze to Andrei Nikoliev from Neutral Athletes. For the women, gold goes to our Jessica Long.
We've had a nice day.
We've had a very nice day. Silver to Alice Tai from Great Britain, and bronze to Xenia Francesca Palazzo from Italy. So Jessica, this is her 30th Paralympic medal.
You got to go with a round number like that.
17th gold. She had gotten a silver in this event in Tokyo and said, I'm not doing it again. And then was convinced to keep at it. She did. Was excited with the result, of course, but said like she woke up really sore. So that was interesting.
She should wake up sore more often.
Maybe. But she did like getting the 30 medal. Nice round number there. In the S14 class, which is an intellectual impairment, we had the 200-meter individual medley. For the men, Nicholas Bennett from Canada won gold with the Paralympic record. Silver went to Rhys Darby from Great Britain, and bronze went to Ricky Bettar from Australia. For the women, gold goes to Valeria Shabalina from Neutral Athletes, silver to Poppy Maskill from Great Britain, and bronze to Kinoshita Arya from Japan. We have the S2 class, which is a high-level impairment, but men's 50-meter breaststroke. Gold goes to Arnolfo Castorena from Mexico. Silver to Ismail Barloff from Bosnia and Herzegovina. And bronze to Grant Patterson from Australia. He's been around a long time.
He has been around a long time. That is a name that we have heard at least 2 or 3.
He's been to London.
Oh, wow.
And he said, London, he noted how the Olympics the Paralympics have changed so much, because in London they only had like 2 hours of TV. And we've seen that as well, where they've had like the hour and a half wrap-up show and like half an hour that is commercials. So he's really excited with the growth of the Paralympic movement. I will say that. SB3 class for the 50-meter breaststroke women. This is another coordination class, maybe some absence of limbs. Gold goes to Monica Boggioni from Italy. Silver to Patricia Pereira dos Santos from Brazil. Bronze to Marta Fernandez Infante from Spain.
And finally, a mixed 4x100 meter freestyle 49 points relay.
Which you love. You love the mixed relays.
I do love the mixed relays. I haven't watched this yet. I'll have to go back and find it. Gold to Ukraine, silver to Brazil, and bronze to Spain.
Para table tennis. We had some quarterfinal action. Also had some gold medals in some singles. So women's singles class 5. Gold to Zhang Bian from China. Silver to Pang Jiamin from China. Bronzes to 2 Koreans, Moon Sung-hye and Jung Young-ah. In women's singles class 10. Gold to Yang Chiang from Australia. Silver to Natalia Partikia from Poland. Bronzes to Chinese Taipei's Tian Xiaowen and Bruna Alexander from Brazil. And then finally in the men's singles class 10, gold to Patrick Chosnowski from, we'll find out where he's from. Silver to Lian Hao from China, and bronzes to Filip Radovic from Montenegro and Mateo Boheas from France. Gold medal match was very close, I understand. It was 3-2. Moving over to shooting para sport, we have P4 mixed 50-meter pistol SH1 final. Gold to Yang Chao from China. Silver to Server Ibragimov from Uzbekistan. And David Franchetti from Italy wins the bronze. For the women in the mixed 50-meter rifle prone SH2.
It's a mixed class. It's not just women.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Because, you know why? Because McKenna Gear is in this class, so of course I think it's for women. Gold went to Dragan Ristic from Serbia. Silver to Vladimir Chincharali from Georgia. And bronze went to Tim Jeffrey from Great Britain.
And speaking of McKenna, she finished 13th with a score of 619.9. She was less than 4 points away from qualifying for the final. She had a good match. She posted on Instagram that while she was disappointed with the result, she was thrilled with how she shot today. She felt
Very
like
good.
she did what she came here to do.
Awesome. Sitting volleyball, we had women's and men's classification matches. Rwanda beat France 3-0 for the women, and Italy beat Slovakia.
Slovenia.
I get this messed up all the time. It's SVK for Slovakia. Italy beat Slovakia 3-0.
No. Italy beat Slovenia 3-0.
Okay. For the men, Ukraine beat France 3-0 and Kazakhstan beat Brazil 3-0.
You know, Czechoslovakia is in this tournament.
Somewhere they are. I find it interesting. Well, okay. Oh, no, they had classification. I find it interesting that the women's sitting volleyball team is much further along than the men from Brazil. But maybe that's because women's volleyball has a bigger tradition.
It certainly has a bigger tradition. I also think women have fewer options in
Oh,
Brazil
that's
as
right.
to
We
what sports
had
they
that.
can.
We've seen
Brazil, women's sports in Brazil is very, very limited.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have the competition for the best athletes that men's sport does.
Right, and the men play football all over the place. But I think we came into this with another Seoul story, if we can bring it back to Seoul, 1988 again. Remember when we talked about volleyball tournament in Peru and how well they did? And that was because, you know,
they weren't allowed to play any other sport.
That's right. It's kind of like when back in the day when women could only be nurses and teachers. Kind of. That's it. Wheelchair basketball. I'm glad we can bring in some women's history into the show. Wait, did Dennis Eckersley get into this episode?
And Czechoslovakia.
That's right. We're running the gamut here, people. Wheelchair basketball. We had women's. No, it's not just a women's day. A lot of games going on.
No, it is. Oh, it's a women's day, but not just a women's classification day.
Okay, thank you. Because I see women, I see men, I see lineups, I see matchups. So much excitement going on. And, you know, okay, so I have to say, the other day when I saw men's basketball, and I think I mentioned this on the show, how they had the sweepers who suddenly turned into the dancers.
Yes.
I've now seen that thing 3 times.
Yes, because I saw it at rugby. You saw it at basketball.
Yes.
And I think somebody else posted a video of it from possibly Olympic volleyball.
A, repeat. B, I'm tired of seeing the same moves. I mean, the one guy's got the thing where he whips around on the shoulders and he kind of does the flares, but on the ground. And then he gets on his hands and does a handstand and hops and stuff.
I saw two women who did like Latin ballroom dance
I saw
moves.
them. I saw that too, because I think that surprised me too, because I was...
Where's the whippy guy?
No, why aren't you sweeping?
Because they have to do their moves.
I guess not everybody is enthralled with cleaning implements as I am.
They must do the lambada, the dance of love.
Anyway. I'm sorry. Women's classification playoff, 5 through 8. I think they're gonna play them all, and then they settle it out. Australia beat Spain 78-74. In the women's quarterfinals, China beat Japan 62-50, and the USA beat Great Britain 59-52. That is close. They said it was hard fought. Double doubles by Iksha Gonzalez and Rose Hollerman. And they faced Tokyo silver medalist China in the semis. So that'll be interesting. Netherlands beat Spain 61-43, and Canada beat Germany 71-53. We have all of our semifinal matchups set. Men, as we reported yesterday, Great Britain versus Germany, USA versus Canada. Women's semifinals are China versus USA and Netherlands versus Canada. Which is kind of of relief for Americans that Netherlands is not going up against the U.S. in the semis.
I know, because the Netherlands is just a steamroller in women's basketball.
Wheelchair fencing. Byron Branch, who's Shook Flastani by proxy, I guess now, because he taught me how to fence. Said today was quite the eye-opener, really, because of the atmosphere and how big the building is. And this is probably par for the course across the gamut of Paralympic sports, with maybe the exception of tennis, because they do Grand Slams.
Grandest venues, biggest crowds.
Yes.
Most pomp and, we talked about pomp and circumstance. The most ceremony with any event. A lot of their events are probably, in a church basement. In a high school gym.
They're very tiny. Nobody goes. Very quiet. So getting used to this atmosphere, especially at the Grand Palais, where it's just raucous beyond belief. You don't even have to have that thing full, and it sounds so loud in there. Today was foil day. So in the women's foil category A, we had gold going to Zhao Shuven from China, silver to Gu Haiyan from China, and bronze went to Judith Rodriguez Menendez. I was there for the gold medal matches and the bronze medal matches. This was the last match of the night, and it was just really anticlimactic because it kind of ended on a red card.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it just kind of ended, and we were like, oh, did it end? And it's interesting because these two must know each other very well, I would think.
I think these worlds are pretty tiny.
Yeah. In the women's foil B category, which is where our Ellen Geddes places, gold went to Jana Saisuni Jana from Thailand, silver went to Zhao Rong from China, and bronze went to Beatrice Maria Vio Grandes, also known as Bebe Vio. So I was really bummed before I went in to see that she wasn't going to be defending her gold medal, because she has won the last two, and she was in the bronze medal match. She had a decisive win over Korean Cho Young-hee, 15-2. This is everything you wanted a Bebe Vio about, because she is a very passionate fencer. So when she wins points, there's a lot of screaming. There's a lot of screaming from the Italians in the audience. They were starting to sing, "I love you, baby."
Oh, no, that's fantastic.
It was so much fun to watch. The gold, if those names sound familiar, rematch of yesterday's saber match, which Sayusi Jana also won, but she barely won that 15-14. This was a little bit bigger, 15-11.
And our Ellen Geddes?
Last minute chair repair before her first bout.
I didn't understand what had happened there, but then when you...
Yeah, it looked like a lot of duct tape.
Oh, dear.
So that's not great. She fell 15-11 in her first in the table of 16. She got a bye into the repechage round, which was very nice, but lost to Irma Ketsuriani from Georgia 15-6. She'll be back, though. There's team events. There's another weapon that she's fencing.
Yes, she does epee, right?
Yes, lots of things for Ellen to do. Men's foil category A. Gold went to China's Sung Gang. Easy win over Matteo Betti from Italy, 5-3. And then bronze went to Zhang Zhai Chung from China. Our Byron Branch won his table of 32 match, lost in the table of 16. He will all, and then he was in the repechage round and lost also. He will also have more competition ahead. In the men's foil category B, gold went to Dimitri Akutia from Great Britain, silver went to Feng Yangqi from China, and bronze went to China's Hu Dao Liang. Gold medal match was a rematch of the Tokyo 2020 semifinals. Feng won that 15-14. This time, Kotia won 15-7. So the other thing that fencing does, because every sport keeps track of like stats, and they all have their different stats for different things. For this event, this category, men's foil category B, a lot of pretty evenly matched fencers. One of the things they track is the average time needed to get a hit during the event. Kotia was the fastest fencer at 1.9 seconds. And Feng had a 5.3 second average hit speed. So you can kind of see where the disparity is and where Kotia could go in. I have to say, I really liked wheelchair fencing almost more than stand-up fencing.
Really?
And that is because I didn't have the movement of the bodies back and forth on the strip to distract me.
And
I
the
could...
saber people jumping up and down.
That didn't matter because you have people waving around in their chair every time they win a point. So what I liked about it was, yes, you still had those dramatic moves because fencing, of course, has the dramatic lunges. Well, this is the dramatic backwards movement to get out of the way. They still create distance in an interesting way, but because they're stationary in the chair and the chair is locked down, you don't have the distraction of watching the feet move back and forth. The feet aren't what's going to establish the movement. You have to really watch the sword. And you really can do that a lot more clearly, I think, or at least the way I watch the sport. I can see it a lot better in wheelchair. It was really, really fun to watch. When I was fencing with Byron, I was trying really hard, and he's like, no. It looks like they're swashbuckling and going, yar, 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 yar. It's all in the tips of your fingers. So you're barely holding that weapon and moving it around there's a lot of dexterity there, but it's a very light touch even though it looks heavy. It's very cool. Watch it because we can watch it this time.
It's true.
Wheelchair. I stayed through the medals. I stayed through Bebe Vio's medal. They do not get a podium. They get a podium storefront.
Yes. I've seen that.
Okay.
I have seen that in several of the wheelchair events. They have the same thing. I believe I saw it over at Table Tennis Set Up. Yes, it's kind of a front because of the ramp issue.
Right. There's not enough space where they need to put the podium or the options for the podium.
I saw it at Wheelchair Rugby.
Oh, okay.
They had very large storefronts. I think that's why, because it was so many people, they just sort of put the front piece of the podium up and then they roll up to the edge.
Yes. So, and then the other thing is that they all sit in a wheelchair. Bebe Vio has prosthetic legs. So she walked in with somebody pushing a wheelchair an empty wheelchair. And then when she got to the podium, she sat in the wheelchair and kind of wheeled up. So they were all at the same level. But you can tell she's not really used to using a wheelchair on the regular because, you know, the wheelchair for fencing is locked in. You don't have to know how to move it because she's a little awkward with that movement with the chair. And it was kind of funny. I will say that. Wheelchair tennis, how was your day at Roland Garros?
So, and we talked about this early on the show that was lost, but I'll mention it again. I grew up watching tennis. My mom was a big fan, so mostly 80s into the early 90s, we would just watch tennis and all the Grand Slams. And to sit there in Roland Garros was such a moment, was probably the one moment since we've been in Paris where I said, I'm here. Like, this is the coolest thing that has probably ever happened to me. I'm sitting here in Roland Garros, just wandering around all of these courts. So today there were matches on Philippe Chatrier, which is basically the equivalent of center court, Suzanne Langland, which is like court one, and then kind of a larger outer court, court 14, which is very tiny, but for an outer court actually has a small set of stands.
Oh, right.
So because I was in one of the outer courts, you're practically in the lap of the players. You're right there. And there is red dust all over the ground of the seating area. So that was really cool. Some red dust got on my papers.
Oh, man.
Did get a little in my mouth.
Gross?
No, because it was Roland Garros dust. It was Roland Garros clay. It didn't taste like anything, or I just didn't have enough in my mouth to taste it, but I felt it.
So you had the Roland Garros feeling within inside you?
I did. I have ingested some clay. So that was interesting, and also I was glad I got to go through to all three courts today because I really got the feel for how different it is on each of the courts. Being in Chatrier, you might as well watch it on TV. You are far away. You can't really hear the players. I mean, it's great being there, but in terms of the intimacy of the match, you're not getting much.
Well, I think because, did you go to court 14 first?
I did.
There you go. So you got spoiled. I did not get to have the outer court experience because tennis during the Olympics rained the day I was there. So all the outdoor courts were rescheduled. And then when I went for wheelchair tennis, it was the matches I wanted to see were on Chartier. So again, did not really get the outer court feeling, though I did poke around there a little bit while I was there. But yeah, I can see where it'd be fun to have that intimacy. I liked Philippe Chatrier.
It's beautiful and dramatic and grand and feels like center. You feel like you're at center court.
Right.
I saw the quad doubles gold medal match.
Oh, man.
Wait till you hear who I saw today. This was just... So that match was Sam Schroeder and Nils Vick against Andy Lapthorne and Gregory Slade. Niels Vink has this nasty little drop shot that he just pulls out regularly, but not too often. It was gorgeous. The Dutch, and of course all the Dutch fans with all their orange are there. They're everywhere because the Dutch, we talk about, countries that are really good at a sport in both the Olympics and the Paralympics. The Dutch don't have a recent history of great tennis players.
No, but they just are one of the dominant countries in wheelchair tennis.
There was Dutch everywhere today, and they were following me. So I have a whole series of pictures of all the people in orange. Because they would hoard. There'd be like a whole section of orange people. It was fantastic. So in that gold medal match, the Dutch won 6-1, 6-1. They were so much fun to watch. They're a young young pair. Vink is 21. Schroeder is 24.
Wait, that's it? I feel like they've been around forever.
Well, Vink was around last time with his cute little blonde ponytail. Blonde ponytail is gone. He's cleaned up. And Schroeder also played last time, and he was all of 21 last time around. So, yeah, the quads were a lot of fun to watch. So, gold went to Sam Schroeder and Niels Vink from Netherlands. Silver to Andy Lapthorne and Gregory Slade from Great Britain. And bronzed to Donald Rampati and Lucas Sithole from South Africa. My first match on court 14 featured a little boy named Alfie Hewitt.
You were so lucky.
I know. I absolutely fell in love with Alfie Hewitt in Tokyo. I think he's a great player. I think he's a lot of fun to watch. I saw him play both singles and doubles today.
Yeah, I know. He went almost back to back.
As did his partner, Gordon Reed. So they both had a singles match and then their doubles match. He is both a grunter and a talker. So he grunts on his hits, and it's a weird grunt because it's it's like an It's a weird little grunt.
It's
Alfie.
not your
It's not my But he talks to the ball. He talks to himself. And I only caught that because it was court 14, so I could really hear. His opponent in the singles match, Ruben Spergar, Netherlands, struggled with his serve the whole match. You don't see a lot of aces in wheelchair tennis. You see a smattering. Not as many drop shots as I would have expected as well. The power these guys are generating is surprising, but not, because obviously they're getting no power from their legs. So a lot of times when you see able-bodied tennis, they kind of do that little jump move where it's almost like they thrust their legs into the shot, and that's where the power is getting generated. Obviously, wheelchair tennis can't do that. But they are still getting speed and spin and slice and real power. It must be the grunt. So Alfie Hewitt won his singles match 6-1, 6-4. And then Gordon Reed, unfortunately, on his singles match, he played it on Chatrier. I caught the end of that. He lost it 6-love, 7-6. I want to mention Gustavo Fernandez because there's this cool thing that different players do. Different players do different things with their extra ball on serve. Most of them throw it back to the ball boy or ball girl. It's mostly ball boys today. Some of them put it in the spokes. But Gustavo had a little shelf on the back of his wheelchair. And I don't know how it sat there so nicely and held, but it was almost like a little suction cup.
Wow. That's impressive.
Didi de Groot and Aniek van Koot both played today. I saw them like half a game.
Oh, okay.
You know, because it was, all these matches are going on at the same time. But my day ended with the double semifinal between Hewitt and Reed and the French Cantoneo and Houdet, who also had singles matches today. Houdet played a singles match earlier. So I'm thinking these guys are exhausted. Oh, no, they're not exhausted. They had rallies that went on for minutes, it felt like, and just beautiful, beautiful shots and placements. And the crowd was full of school kids for that match.
Oh, man.
And they're French. And there's a French team and getting excited over every shot. But I was sitting next to a British reporter, and the two of us, and I was so grateful he was next to me, because the two of us are, ooh, because the shots were just so pretty and precise and fun. And Hewitt and Reed did win 6-4, 6-3. The French gave them quite a scare at a few points. A lot of ads, a lot of deuces, a lot of back and forth. They're fun. This is a fun doubles pair. They have been playing together quite a while and did talk, but didn't need to. It's easier to see how well doubles players have to move with each other in wheelchair than with able-bodied, simply because they're physically larger. They have to maneuver the chair. I read something yesterday where somebody commented that this is all just on social media. Oh, I was watching wheelchair tennis. The tennis is so good, I don't notice the wheelchair anymore. And somebody said to in response that that's an ableist statement. But I want to say this. The intent of that was how I felt today. I was just watching good tennis. It didn't matter on the one hand that it was wheelchair tennis. Yes, I noticed certain elements of it that were different. But as a fan, I was just getting excited over a drop shot.
Yeah.
And I don't want to discount that Paralympians have that other layer. But I also want to celebrate, watch the sport because it's good sport.
Yes.
If you love tennis,
You should
why
be
would you
one.
not watch wheelchair tennis? Because it's good tennis.
Right. Just like we talked about wheelchair basketball last night. Amazing game to watch. It's so, I mean, in terms of ball handling and all that, but wheelchair, I felt the same way. Like, I really loved being able to watch wheelchair tennis in person and seeing the different, it's the placement and like any good tennis player will get just a massive placement. Didi de Groot has good power and force, and it's just amazing. What did you think of the complex?
I loved the complex, actually. On the one hand, it doesn't have, the gravitas and distinctive architecture of, say, a Wimbledon, but it's nicely laid out. All the courts had good sight lines, had pleasant atmosphere. It was big, but not overwhelming. The hardest part, once again, was walking from the train station to the accredited entrance, which was, of course, on the whole other side of the complex, but not too far from court 14, where I started my day. So it all worked out. The atmosphere was fantastic. People were moving between the different courts. The Dutchmen were following me, which was great. Not a huge crowd, but enough of a crowd, and certainly a very engaged crowd. Lots of Brits, because they had a lot of Brits to cheer for, lots of Dutch, and lots of flags with people's names on it, which I always think is great. A lot of children, and not just school children, littles with their parents, and which makes me think, to them, wheelchair tennis is just going to be part of the sporting world in their brains because they've had this experience. And I ran into two little kids who were leaving when we were walking back to the train, and they were French, and clearly, even though yet again I could only understand like 2 or 3 words coming out of this like 7 or 8 year old's mouth, this child just fell in love with wheelchair tennis.
Aww.
She had the best day, and that was so clear by the look on her face and the way she was talking about it. And it was, "Mommy, can I go back tomorrow?" I think was what was happening there. And that's the power of this event. Because to her, it doesn't matter that it's parasport. She just had the best day watching all these amazing players.
And stuff she doesn't see on the regular.
And I got to see all of the wheelchair players I wanted to see in one day. And all 3 court, outside court, Langland and Chatrier, it was such a good day.
Good. I'm very glad, to be quite honest.
I'm so glad my trip to Roland Garros. This was like the one thing that I still had to do that was like, okay, can't leave Paris without going to Roland Garros. And then I just had this amazing, amazing day there. So
awesome.
Yay for wheelchair tennis.
You know what else is awesome? Who else is awesome? Our
mascot, Waldo.
Yay.
So Waldo loves to share in his mom's yoga practice. So in the newsletter, there's a picture of posing Waldo.
Oh, I've seen these pictures, and not the ones that you got, but yet now I remember seeing them. So yes,
this is
it's fantastic.
Don't know what we would call this pose, but I don't think a human could replicate it unless they're a very bendy human.
Ooh.
He is also apparently a very vocal cat, and listener Cindy, this is the best description, describes his voice as very Kathleen Turner-like. So apparently Waldo smokes. But very special.
No, because then I just got an image, because if he was in France, he would be vaping, because there's a lot of vaping here. I just had this image of this cat hat with a cloud of vape smoke and
With a beret.
and a thing of vape in his paw. Sorry, Cindy.
Well, special thanks to Cindy, who is probably regretting her choice for sharing Waldo with TKFLASTAN and supporting our Kickstarter campaign that got us to Paris.
All right, how's our medal table doing?
We added 3 golds today, so that makes 9 golds, 3 silvers, and 2 bronze.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And we have more action tomorrow in TKFLASTAN.
Alison Levine and partner Julian Shabano play for bronze against Thailand in the BC4 mixed team tournament.
It's another day, so it's another Daniel Romanchuk race. He's going to be in the men's T54 800 meters.
Liana Mutia competes in the J1 under 57 kilogram class of para judo.
Mackenzie Cohen swims in the 50-meter freestyle S8 class.
Ellen Geddes fences in the women's foil team event.
Ian Seidenfeld plays in the semifinals in the men's singles class 6 in para table tennis.
Team USA takes on Brazil in the semifinals of women's sitting volleyball.
And Brian Bell with Team USA plays Canada in the semifinals of men's wheelchair basketball. That is going to do it for this episode. Special thank you to our researcher, Elizabeth Emery.
And you can get in touch with us on X, YouTube, and Instagram at FlameAlivePod. Send us an email at flamealivepod@gmail.com. Call or text us at 208-352-6348. That's 208-FLAME-IT. Chat with us and other fans on our Facebook group, Keep the Flame Alive Podcast. And to get our special daily Games Time newsletter, sign up at our website, flamealivepod.com.
Hang on, because we have tape from Noelle Malkamaki after this and me losing it in the mix zone.
Gold medalist, world record holder, Noelle Malkamaki.
But after you listen to that, you should join us again tomorrow for more action from Paris. Please do not forget to tell a friend about the show and hang out with us in the Facebook group because it has been hopping and it is so much fun to be there. Thank you so much for listening, and until tomorrow, keep the flame alive.
Gonna try not to cry. Oh my gosh, it was so amazing. Thank you. Oh my god. Go. I gotta compose myself. Go. It was so good. Oh my gosh. It was really good. Sounds like you're obviously delighted. Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. I trained a lot this summer to get over some mental hurdles with being able to push the distance on my throw, and I feel like everything we were able to do led up to this moment perfectly. I'm so happy that I was able to channel the excitement from the stadium into good throws, not erratic throwing, but like real power and excitement. And I've really never had more fun at a meet in my entire life, and that's my favorite part of it. So. And the first woman ever over 14 meters in your class. Oh, whoa, that's big. First time I've heard that. Yeah, it's huge. I'm so happy about it. I woke up this morning, and the goal this whole time has been to hit that 14 meters, and I was looking at the information I had given to me, and I was the 14th thrower. I was like, yeah, we're gonna get this done today. So I'm super excited about that. Yeah. And twice too. Yeah, that's what I'm really happy about. Is I think throwers talk a lot about consistency. It only takes one throw to win a medal, but having a consistent series and being able to put several throws out there, I'm thrilled with that, and I hate to say it already, but like excited to get back to work here in like a month. Go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say, when you came in, what was your distance goal? Yeah, my distance goal was to hit the 14. I kind of feel like I've been waiting on that for a long time. I felt like that in Paris last year, that I should have been able to hit that then. And then there were a couple more meets throughout the year where it was getting frustrating that I wasn't able to hit the 14. So I think me and my coach kind of sat down and were thinking, it's time. It's time to hit the 14. What do we need to do? I feel like I left no stone unturned in getting every small detail right. And I'm just really happy it ended up translating. Did you know how far it was going when it left your fingers? I know, that's like the big thing every thrower says. I know it was going to be good. My best throw, actually, I wish I had left my fingers better. But whatever. I could feel in my legs that there was a lot of power in it, and so I was happy with that. Depth perception can be a bit tricky with throwing, so I saw the mark, I was happy with it, and it was like, okay, let's see what that actually ended up being. But definitely felt like a lot of power in that throw that I was happy with. Can I just ask you about your tattoo? Of course, yeah. This says 1951. That's the year that my papa was born, and he died a couple years ago. So, yep. So you had it done there. Yeah, exactly. These are the birth flowers of all my grandparents, actually. Wow. And the 3 that are alive are here with me today. So, great. Yeah, really exciting. How many? Yeah.
whole family came out? Or
Yeah, how many? I think it's like 11 people.
Oh, wow.
So I've got my husband, my mom and dad, my sister, Grammy, Grandpa, Grandma, and some like more distant aunts that came out too. So it's just huge. It means the world to me that they would come out to see this.
I was going to say, what's the celebration going to be like?
Oh, man. Am I allowed to say? No, I'm excited to enjoy Europe with them. My parents haven't been out of the country. My husband hasn't been out of the country. This was like the first time ever. So we've got a couple more days in Paris, and then we're going to Rome. So a little vacation is how we're gonna just spend some family time to celebrate, and that's all I could have really asked for. So
Nice.
Thank you so much.
of course, thank you.
You know, it's just you're bringing the class to a new level. Does that sink in, like what you're doing to change your event?
Yeah, I love that question. I think we can get really, as athletes, we can get really caught up in, I'm just trying to do the best I can for me. And there's a time and a place for that. But when you get into a stadium like this and it's packed and there's people that want to watch and you talk to the people that are in your competition with you, it kind of sinks in that this is a lot bigger than just one athlete. It is a burden that I'm happy to carry, to try to push the limits of what's possible. You know, how far can you throw a shot put with one hand? I want to figure that out, you know? So yeah, it's a daunting task, but I'm up for the challenge of just seeing how much we can raise the limit there, yeah.
Because a lot of people got personal bests today,
Yeah.
and I don't know what's adrenaline versus what's like, oh, we have a new standard to go
Well,
follow.
and that's the thing is like, at some of the meets that I've been to, the throwing events can be a little bit dead. You know, it's hard to get energy into those, and people do a lot better when everyone is amped up, right? So it can start with just one person, one or two people having fun can change the competition completely, and I think we have to bring back that joy in competition, and it helps everyone do better, obviously, you know.